Byrne is definitely achieving success with his Vickers commandos, but he doesn't have anything to kill everything he's pinning.
He's just probably trying to buy himself some time until O4B and Bay Area, which is now on the field, they get out with some AT. Some Rangers with... Yeah. Oh, there's the Hummel firing. Showcasing the incendiary shot, was that T3 for Scorched Earth? The Hummel fires incendiary rounds akin to the mortar half-track incendiary round.
And Smokus is back with his IST.
With the rolling lockdown.
And in the middle of the city we have tons of vet infantry backed up by an officer. And the Allies just don't have anything there that can hold them back.
So, okay, we also have, didn't Commandos just come in, with the, Doctrine rework?
Yes, yes they did.
Yeah, so far I've noticed the, Typhoon strike, but I can't really, distinguish what else the, Commandos are doing.
They had the early deployment as well.
Okay. But these are probably new Commando armies, and they haven't reached that amount of, level yet. Alright, so we have the Allies pretty much just bunching at the bottom right-hand corner of the map, with some scattered stormtroopers up at the top, dropped in by glider. But there, I've seen this a lot lately, and this is definitely one of the things I wanted to showcase, or to show, you know, what not to do when playing Allies. Basically, don't bunch up into a corner like that, because if you get some sneaky Axis players, they're just going to backcap you all to hell. I mean, look at that, like, they only own, Allies own maybe a quarter of the map right now.
And another thing that it's harming them with is giving the Axis a lot of time to lay mines all over the map. If you look around, you can see, I can see at least 6 at the moment. 2 just got blown up, but it's giving the Axis way too much time to consolidate.
Enemy unit down.
You think they'd, the Allies, they'd realize right now this is the strat that the Axis have chosen to do. They're rocking ISTs with the rolling lockdown, but they keep on throwing infantry at it. I just saw 2 commando squads. They just retreated pretty much with all their members because 2 ISTs rolled in. So I mean, some Fireflies need to be brought out, or some Pershings. I believe O4B has Pershings in this, but something needs to be done. They can't just let the ISTs roll around like they have been, especially like with the Axis being so anti-infantry oriented, with the assault, the Hummel incendiary barrages and the opening barrages. I mean, they're pushing them into a corner and they're making the Allies go defensive, which they just can't do. You need to find the flanks and exploit them.
I'm seeing almost next to no AT from the Axis. I see 2 Shrek squads on the field from 3 players. That should be a clear signal to the Allies that they can turn this around with some decent vehicle or tank presence.
For the most part, you know, the Axis don't really need it right now. Their aggressiveness is paying off for the lack of AT. I mean, all they need to do is they're bypassing the Allied AT guns completely and bunching them up and putting down the opening barrages, which is going down right now.
Looks like O4B's heard the call and has brought his Vet 2 Pershing out. But dangerous for it is the fact that the Axis have had the opportunity to lay so many mines by this point.
Right now I think it's just on chase away IST duty, which we got 1 IST that's pretty much down to no health, the other one's at full health, but I mean, even so, that's going to be no contest for the Pershing. They just got to bunch together and push on one side with the Pershing leading the way, and get some minesweepers out maybe. Which O4B is doing too. I see minesweepers in tow with the Pershing, scouting ahead, trying to make sure that the Pershing doesn't get engine damage.
That's one strategy that O4B is definitely noted for, his excellent use of minesweepers to screen all of his main battle tanks. Not many players do it, to their great dismay, but he is certainly one that recognizes the threat that mines can play and knows how to counter them effectively.
That's another thing that's changed within the last couple patches. We've introduced dedicated minesweepers to all the armies, so that just to promote mine usage and mine defense. You know, it's because the way things worked beforehand, the engineers that were required to have a minesweeper, they took up a lot of pool pop, which it kept you from spending that particular pool usage on other units. It's hard to explain. You have to play the game, but it's the availability system, and it's a benefit. So you can bring out more units without suffering with the minesweepers. That was
That is one hell of a series of off maps that the Axis just unleashed.
Pretty much, yeah. They're just they're burning everything to the ground, but they're keeping the allies contained, which is very bad. I mean, Asian PP Farmer is completely backcapped all the way to O4B spawn. I bet that they're probably up to maybe 32 pop right now, while the allies just reached 30.
The funny thing is that the allies are almost entirely infantry based right now, and they're still not able to cap. They're unwilling to cap, which when you have that much infantry on should be the one thing you definitely excel at. You can definitely see the psychological effect of the Scorched Earth artillery in the fact that they're afraid to move.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, the O4B's Pershing is really the only main battle tank we've seen from the Allies. And it's doing its job, but it can't do it alone.
Here we go. We got a Firefly out from Burn with the command tank. So now they'll be able to punch some holes into the Axis line. And Bay Area's got that weak stag hound going over to stop the back capping. It just needs a little more infantry, and then they can get their half of the map back. In the meantime, Sharpie, or Sharpel, whatever, is put down a defensive Wehrmacht aid station, which is it's the medic bunker, but what it does is it acts like a triage for the Wehrmacht army, which is very powerful considering like how high the Axis squads are in HP. They're allowed to preserve their infantry a lot better with the aid station, as opposed to med kits on every squad.
And on the right flank, we see O4B's excellent mine detecting tactic in action. His his mine detecting engineers have just scouted ahead of his heavy tank and once again saved it from engine damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the Axis are kind of adopting a rubber band type defense. You know, I mean,
Yep.
They see a threat and then they go and send the appropriate counters to neutralize it, like that clown car with the Shrek in it, taking out that staghound to preserve the back capping that the Axis have gained, that advantage, which, I mean, the Allies need to be doing too. I mean, they need to be doing the exact same thing. When they see a threat, just go over there and send the appropriate stuff to kill it. Instead of, just sending one unit by itself, send a multiple array of units. Make sure you get the job done. But now
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, the Axis, I with you completely, and their patience is, I think, what's making this so painful for the Allies. They're going in, annihilating large amounts of enemy troops, and then pulling back, like you said, and that is, I think, frustrating the Allies the most.
I think O4B is getting a little confident now because that Pershing's moving up a lot, trying to make sure picking off a lot of Bob's troops. Definitely, but we have Smokas over at 3 sandbags, definitely taking up flanking positions with those ISTs and the clown cars and assault grens, trying to get behind, trying to weed out those AT guns that the Allies have, so they can use their tanks to the best effect. It's weird, like, everyone's so close to each other, but not a lot of fighting's going on. They're